Shawnee, welcome back. Okay, so I just got up, and I went to check the mailbox, and I had a little gift. That's what we're gonna talk about today. So, you don't know what it is. Yes, you do. Some of you do. I received a palette from Nomad Cosmetics. That's it. I'm famous. So let me tell you how this happened. I got a little DM from Nomad and they were like, hey girl, your friend Jan recommended that we send or suggested that we send a palette to you. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah. And that's kind of how it happened. So basically, Jan, my lovely friend, suggested to Nomad that they send me a palette, and then they reached out and they sent me a palette. Here we are. We are famous. So Nomad did not say that I had to say or do anything in particular. They did ask when I use the palette to put it on my social media, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to play around with the palette and I'm going to let you know what I think. One thing that I appreciate that it seems like Nomad is trying to do is to be more inclusive in terms of what products work on deeper skin tones. And so I'm really impressed by that desire, and I'm thinking that they'll follow through on it because they do seem responsive to at least what I view on social media and what people I know who really like Nomad have said. That they are really a good brand. Now, I do have two other palettes from Nomad that one was a gift from Dion Loves Makeup. The other was one that I purchased myself. That's the Hudson Valley palette and the Cartagena Mágica palette. So this will be my third Nomad Cosmetics palette, and I'm really excited. So let's just jump in and I'll tell you about it. The other thing, let's just be honest, I look tired, and you're gonna live with it because this is adult life, okay? This is adulting. So let me tell you about this palette. Here is the packaging, really pretty, very nice artwork. On the front, it says Nomad, and underneath the brand name, it says Verona Amore e Morte. That's Italian if you didn't know, and if we were going to say it en español, it would be Amor y Muerte. And in English, it would be Love and Death, which is just wonk, wonk. Okay, on the back, we have what I assume are the colors, the shades that are in the palette, but let me read to you what it says. It says, lovely velvety shades formulated with extra fine pigments for deathly rich color. Infused with cocoa seed butter to help keep skin supple and colors alive. 12 pigmented mattes and 6 striking shimmers divided into fiery hues of love and sorrowful shades of death, inspired by stories of romance and tragedy in Verona, Italy. So the destination is Verona, Italy. The coordinates are Juliet's balcony, and the inspiration is love and death. So there's a little bit more here on the bottom, but it's very similar to what they have on this little postcard that comes with the palette. So if you do purchase it, I'm assuming that you get this postcard as well. On the back, it says, fall in love with Verona, setting for a love story like no other. We hope our Verona Love and Death palette inspires you to create a masterpiece of your own. Thank you for your support, Nomad Cosmetics. And then on the other side, they say that it is the new Nomad and Verona Love and Death palette and singles. The destination, made famous by the story of Romeo and Juliet, Verona, with its picturesque piazzas, charming cafes, and immaculate architecture, is the perfect setting for any love story. Historic city with youthful energy, it is an enchanting place to visit during Valentine's season, as odes to the star-crossed lovers are on full display. Follow the story from Juliet's balcony and the house of Romeo to the tomb where the tragedy unfolds, all the while enjoying the city's amorous gems along the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up a little bit. And I use my nail. That's what they're there for. Ooh. Here is the palette. And it says on the back, intense color palette designed on location, finding love in the streets of Verona. Proud supporter of World Wildlife Fund. I like that. Now, this is a little different from other palettes as it opens like a book. Get that out of there. All right. So here is that. And let me tell you what they say about this. There's more on the little postcard. Can you see? Okay, you can see. It says, the palette, fiery love and sorrowful death. Love blossoms on the left with pink blushes and rich roses, turning into intense reds and scarlets of passionate love. Death consumes the right with cool tones of woeful grays, tragic blues, deep violets, and the completeness of black. 12 mattes and 6 shimmers. They also let us know that the cause behind this is the World Wildlife Fund that protects all animals, including lovebirds. So this is really, really pretty. Very different from any of the other palettes that I have. You can also see, hopefully, that there are there's embossing on the shades, which I have seen that to be very common with Nomad Cosmetics palettes, and the embossing is so pretty. So I think the first thing that we'll do is that we will do some swatches. I'll tell you the name of the shade, and then I will go ahead and swatch it on my skin. So let's go ahead and do that, and then after that we will do a look. And since it has two sides, I'm guessing maybe I'll do one look with this love side and the other look with the death side. Okay, so let me get you over here in a better view so we can do swatches. So this has 18 shades total. We have 9 shades of the love side and then 9 shades of the death side. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the swatches. Now this first shade here is called Paradise. It is a matte and it is super smooth. The shade next to it is called Cupid, and it is one of the 6 shimmers. This seems more like a topper. So with toppers, you don't necessarily get a ton of opacity, but they are good for layering on top of other shades. But it's very pretty. I'm not even sure if the camera is picking it up well. And the last one in that row of love is Balcony. Now going to the next row on the left side, we have the shade Rose. And maybe I'm being super basic, but rose, that is my favorite flower, especially pink roses. So you can see some similarity, in my opinion, between Balcony and Rose. Rose is just a bit rosier. It's a bit deeper. We also have the shade Love. And another shimmer is the shade Romeo. This again feels more like a topper shade. Now let's do that last row on the love side. We've got the shade Light. Next to that, we've got the third shimmer, and that is the shade Comedy. And then the last one is the shade Quill, like a pen. So there is the love side. Again, we've got Paradise, Cupid, Balcony, Rose, Love, Romeo, Light, Comedy, Quill. Now there is a little bit of staining, so that's not uncommon, I think, with reds. So if that is a concern of yours, then there you go. Let me wipe a bit of this off, and then I will swatch the other 9 shades right next to the ones we've already got. So moving on to the Death side, what's really cool is that it's like they are mirrors of one another. So like, here is Death on this side, and then it's like opposite of Love. And here is Romeo. It's like opposite of Juliet. I think that's pretty cool. That's very like thoughtful. What's the word? There's a word, and I can't access it right now. Yeah. So the first one here is Tomb. The one next to it is another shimmer, Moors. Ooh, that's pretty. These shimmers seem more like toppers. I feel like that's a little different from some of their other shimmers that I've experienced. Next to that, we have Inferno. Then going to the second row, we've got Juliet. One of my best friends that I've known since high school, her name is Juliet, but we've known each other since high school. And then when we were in Spanish class, she became Julieta. So my friend Julieta, I was in her wedding. It was super gorgeous, a very like LA grand wedding. But every time I see Juliet, I think of my Julieta. The next shade is Death, so black. Ooh, that's very smooth. The next shade is Poison. That girl is poison. The next shade is Dagger, like a dagger straight through the heart. Following that, we have our last shimmer, which is Tragedy. Ooh, that is pretty. Ooh, I'm gonna use that one. And the last shade is Dark. So we've got Tomb, Moors, Inferno, Juliet, Death, Poison, Dagger, Tragedy, and Dark. So here are all of the shades. We've got the Love side and the Death side. All right, let me clean myself up and we will go ahead and try some looks. Okay, so I've pulled my hair back because, you know, now we're serious. But the last thing I want to mention that came with the palette, and I believe the first 100 purchases, this will come with your palette also, according to Nomad's Instagram. But they send this little card about the Juliet Club in Verona. So let me tell you about it. There is a place in Verona where people who suffer can leave a message to ask Juliet for help. Letters to Juliet. Tell your love story or ask for advice from Juliet and receive a reply from the most famous heroine in literature. Girl, Julieta, we got to talk. So you can write it on here on this little card. I'm like, girl, I might need a few pages. Julieta. The instructions are you write your letter to Juliet on the other side of this card, so this side here. Enclose this card in the included envelope addressed to Juliet in Verona and write your return address on the envelope. Enclose the envelope to Juliet in the included prepaid envelope addressed to Nomad Cosmetics. Drop off the prepaid envelope in any U.S. Postal Service mailbox, and upon receiving it, Nomad will mail your envelope internationally to Juliet in Verona. Wait patiently, not easy for me, and you'll receive a reply of love advice from the heroine. You can find more information about the Juliet Club in Verona at www.julietclub.com. Girl, Juliet, whoo, child. Whoo. Girl, we're gonna have to talk Juliet. And here's a little envelope, y'all. They put it in there for you, and it goes right to Nomad. Honey. Let me put this in a safe space. Let me get my quill or my pen, because we about to have Juliet, girl. Child. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I am going to do a look on this eye and a look on this eye. So why don't we start with this one? I'm going to use this Sigma shadow stick. It's an eye primer. Just gonna put that on. Now, I have used Nomad shades before, so I'm expecting the same great quality. The difference I notice in this one is that the shimmers seem thinner. I feel like the other shimmers that I've used have had more opacity. Let me see. Let me actually grab. Actually, I'm not. Wait, yes, I am. Hold on. Just give me a second. Move this chair back. Okay. I was being lazy. Okay, now we'll move it. We'll move it back up. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. So here is the Hudson Valley palette. Let me grab. This one has 3 shimmers right here in the middle. So this is one of the shimmers. Do you see that? Like, I feel like that's just... Hold on. There we go. I feel like that just has more opacity than the ones in the new palette. Like, let's see. This is Romeo. I just feel like this pops a bit more. Now, let's see in the Cartagena Mágica palette. This is the shade De Soledad. So you can see this one here. It's this shade. So to me, the shimmers seem a little like lighter in the, not lighter in terms of color, but lighter in terms of formula. Let me see this one. Here's another Verona one. Yeah, they just seem like toppers, maybe. Let me know what you think. Okay, I turned that light off just so you can see a little bit better, but let me do this so you can see me a bit better now. So let me know what you think about the shimmer differences. Wipe that off. Okay, so... I'm going to close this side, and then we're going to use this side. I think I will start with this deep shade here. That is Quill. Let's get a brush. I like reorganize things, and it looks still good. I'm going to take this BK Beauty 212. Ooh, child, that is pigmented right off the bat. I have found, in my opinion, that their mattes are just like boom pow. That was, you know, 2 dips total, and I feel like I'm good. Just want to blend it a little bit more. Let's go into the shade Rose right here. Sorry, you can see that ring light. Again, very pigmented. And I'm going to put that right next to the shade Quill. And go back in with Quill. I want to deepen it up a little bit. Now, of course, you could dip into the other side of the palette, but I just want to show you something with each side. Put that brush down. And I'm going to go into the shade Paradise, which is this one here. Look at that. These mattes are just super pigmented. And I'm going to put that here. So this is a very light shade on me. So definitely got to build that up just a little bit. But it does build up well. I honestly just wanted to use this as a base for shimmers. I think the lightness of this shade is making it a little patchy on me. I'll wipe this brush off. And I'm going to do a little bit of blending here. And then, I think I will take Cupid and I will put that all over. Cupid, but you don't know what you can't try. True love, true. And then let's go ahead and use the other shimmer, which is Romeo, right there. Romeo, Romeo, live off that Romeo. The other day, as I had a beverage, an adult beverage, an alcoholic beverage, all of a sudden I broke out into like, to be or not to be, that is the question. Whether it is nobler. And I was like, girl, sit down and go to bed. Cute. Soup's cute, right? Now, I'm going to dip into Balcony and make this a bit pinker. Ooh. These mats, child. You gotta be ready. Gotta be ready for the mats. But you don't know unless you get it. Sorry. Okay, so I think we're gonna leave this side like this for now because I'm gonna do the other side and then we'll end up cleaning up and doing like lashes probably or something. Or not. But that is the first side. Very pinky, reddish, sparkly. All right, so let's head on over to Morte. All right, so these are some very deep, dark shades. Oh, I think I'm just gonna do something really simple. Let's prime this eye. Same primer, the Sigma eyeshadow primer. I'm blending it out with this Sonia G brush. Just put a little bit more. Okay. So I'm going to start with this shimmer here, Juliette. Julieta. And then I'm going to go into Tragedy. This might be my favorite shade in the whole bunch. Okay, now that I've got those on, I'm just going to use some brushes to build them up a little bit, just because with my nails I can't necessarily get in there as much as I want to. So I'm going to go back into Juliette here. And I'm taking a Refer number 2. I want to make sure I get in the corner. And then I'm just going to flip the brush over and go back into Tragedy. And then I think I will use this matte Poison. Let's see. How about this Wayne Goss number 16 brush and go into that. Again, very pigmented mattes. And then let's see how this, like, maroon, that is the shade Dark. Let's see how that layers over this. Okay, there is that side. Now, let me go ahead and do some face makeup. I'm gonna put on like foundation and all of that good stuff, and then I'll come back and finish up the eyes because, you know, I want to do a little bit of liner and things like that. So I will be right back. Okay, so I have most of my face makeup done. I'm going to go back into both sides of the palette and do my lower lash line. So why don't we start with this side, and I'm just going to get a brush. This is a Sydney Grace brush, You can see that. And I'm going to go into this shade here, the blue, which is Poison. And I'm going to go over it with this shade here, which is Dark. So we've got that side, and now I'm going to go into the other side. And let's see, probably going to use this shade here, Quill. That's the deepest one, and I usually like to use a deep shade on my lower lash line. Let's just find a brush. Why don't we take this BK Beauty 204. There's that. And then I'm going to use some eyeliner, put on some mascara, and then we will be done and I'll tell you what I think. So here is the finished look with the Nomad Verona Amore e Morte palette. And again, we've got the two sides, Amore, which is love, and Morte, which is death. We have those two sides in the same palette. You can, of course, mix and match shades, but I decided to do one look with this side, which is this look here, and the other look with this side, which is this look here. So I think I'll definitely use it again to sort of mix and match both sides because I want to see how they complement one another, but I definitely wanted to allow you the opportunity just to see one side on one side. I love the mattes in this palette. They are right off the bat, boom pow. Like, they have a lot of pigment. You can dip lightly into the shade and you'll have that true, like, it'll be true to color on your brush. Now, the shimmers do feel a little different to me from the other palettes that I have, the Hudson Valley and Cartagena Mágica. Those shimmers in those two palettes seem a bit... they have more opacity in like one swipe, whereas the Amore e Morte palette, the shimmers seem more like topper shades. So I think they actually look really good on my eyes. I was just expecting something a little different based on the other two palettes I have. Again, I only have two other palettes from them, so it could be wrong, but it seems like there's a little bit of a difference in the formula. Yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else? I didn't really experience any fallout or anything. I didn't have to brush away any shimmer. Again, everything blends really nicely. Everything is true to color. Hopefully you were able to see the swatches, and I will be sure to also put a picture of the swatches on my Instagram. I think that is it. So again, thank you so much to Jan. Thank you so much to Nomad. I feel honored to have gotten this palette. It's definitely going in the drawer with the rest of my palettes, and I will be sure to pull it out even more and use so I can kind of combine both of the sides as well. Let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. I think that's it. Hopefully some of this was helpful. I also hope that you are taking care of yourself. Don't forget to like the video and also to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.